guys, BBI here. I want to stop and say thanks for tuning in and checking out whatever the video is about that's about ready to come up next. If you could take a minute and hit subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you enjoy what you've seen here, make sure to hit the like button. We'd greatly appreciate your support. Anyhow, guys, all that aside, let's get on with the show. Okay, so I've had several of the same phone calls take place and present themselves on multiple different levels on the phone the last couple days. And I wanted to come out and I wanted to come talk to you guys about this and share this with you and hopefully get everybody thinking on the same page. Because this is how this works. Now I went and I looked at my ARRL handbook. I went and I looked at my William I. Orr book on antennas. They don't put it in plain enough English for a lot of the people I work with, a lot of guys I work with, that to visually help them look at it. So tonight I decided to help them visualize it in their head. So tonight I decided I'd grab my white chalkboard from my kid and I give you a very, very simple diagram. Now, the way I learned about this when I was about 13 years old was from a guy by the name of Mike Cope, aka Martian Base. He goes, "Now listen here, boy. I'm going to teach you some stuff. Shut up and listen." Okay. He got out a piece of newspaper and he got out a Sharpie. And he drew a coax connector. Here's your coax connector. We're not going to get into why that's 50 ohms. That's a whole nother story. Goes back to standardization in World War II. We could spend an hour muddled in that. I want to get the basic mechanics out. I'm not going to go into any other detail than other the basic mechanics. So you guys are, well, what about? No. Basic mechanics, clean English. Not tech talk. We have our center conductor. We have our shield. Okay, RF is an AC signal. It turns on, it turns off, turns on, it turns off, turns on, and it turns off. So the electrical field that takes place on your coax connector, ladder, line, waveguide, whatever, works like this. You have a signal going out and one coming back equally as strong in the opposite direction. So we have cancellation. And that's what keeps your coax from basically turning into an emitter. Okay? So, coax leaks a little bit of signal, ladder line leaks a little bit of signal, but for the most part this is generally how this works. So we're keeping the genie in the bottle until we get to our feed point, our antenna. And how the antenna works is very simple, but it seems like a lot of people have their hard time getting their heads wrapped around this. Our ground. Or hot. If you think about it at AC, they're both hots, they're both grounds. Because remember, it's turning on constantly. So if we have a principle taking place like this, they're canceling each other out, what happens when we lay the two poles out like this? You get a signal that goes a lot like this. Go in this direction, feeding down. So when you bring the poles and separate them from each other, now we have an electrical field that's complementing itself. And you have an emission point. And because it turns on and it turns off, that's it. That's the mechanics of an antenna. Everything we deal with is a variation of this principle. Period. If you shortchange yourself on one or the other, you're going to have a standing wave ratio issue. You're going to have feed. You're going to have RF coming back because the antenna is in imbalance. What determines the length of this is frequency. What determines how well the signal stays on the coax is your frequency. So, now that you guys got this down, I want you to stop and I want you to think about this and visualize this in your head, and it'll help you figure out a lot of your basic antenna problems. A lot. Food for thought, guys. This is how antennas work. Very basic, very clear-cut mechanics and clean English that people can understand that isn't going to take them 3 hours to nitpick out of a handbook. I gotta go. More on this subject to come. I'll see you guys. Have a good night.